employees to feel appreciated and for the team to be maybe not happy all the time, because it's a job, not everybody's happy all the time. There's always something to complain about. But just knowing that they're in the right state of mind, we're still a team, we're still working together. I'd say that's something that I look for every day. We're a pretty tight team, so I like to know we're still in that headspace, that we're still working together. Another thing, a top 5 thing, that is it with my employees or just in general?
Just like, man, you know, as a rehab director, what are your, like, you
Right.
get up in the morning and you're like, all right, I'm going to work. What are the things that I'm going to be focused on, worried about, care about?
I care a lot about discharge planning because I do go to all the care plans. So I like to talk with a therapist before I go into the care plans, ask them, what have you been doing? What have they told you? What do you need me to ask? Because we do have a very large rehab hall, and we are located in a place where discharge planning is not always easy. You don't know where they're going. They don't have a lot of family support. So that's one of the main things I concentrate on. I work really closely with social services who works on the rehab hall, and every day we're going through our patients on the rehab hall. Who's gonna get home? Whose family do we need to talk to? So I would say that's one of the major things. Another top thing is my relationship with the nurses. Because I know sometimes between therapy and nursing, there's always some sort of middle line that it can be a struggle sometimes, especially in a skilled nursing facility. They have a lot of patients that they have to deal with. We have things that we need to get done. So I try every day to go to at least 1 or 2 nurses' stations and kind of see how they're doing, where they're at. Are you guys understaffed today? Is there anything I can do to help? Is there anything that I can tell my therapist today that you're struggling with and this is why things are happening? Or what can I do to make the day go smoother? And I think my relationship with nursing and with the nursing managers is important. Not just with the managers, I like to talk to the CNAs too, to know what their struggles are, so that I can bring that back to the team and say, you know, I know you're frustrated about this, this, and this. This is where they're at, so what can we do to make things work in between? I would say those are my top 3 things. I don't know if I necessarily have 5, besides like the boring stuff of like managing minutes and stuff like that. And I know that the therapists are worried about productivity. I know my therapists who struggle with it, and I don't hone on it every day. I might check in with them once a week, be like, hey, have you looked at your productivity this week? Do you know what it is? And I'll ask them that before I even look at it, because I think that kind of keeps them aware of it, to know like, I'm not looking at it every day, but I just want to see if you know what it is, type of thing. But I wouldn't say it's something that I hone in on every week, because if somebody has a bad day, they usually let me know.
I think first and foremost is quality care, and that's comes from a lot of different areas. So it's seeing what the therapists are doing in the gym, looking at their interactions with patients, looking that we're maximizing time spent with our patients during managed care, low minutes. So quality care for me is number 1. What's going on in the clinic day to day that impacts the outcomes for our patients that we serve. Obviously, I would say on my top 5 would be the day-to-day tasks I have to do, whether they're reports I have to go to, meetings I need to go to, those kinds of things, to organize my day to accomplish those items that are important and part of what's required for me as my job. But patient care. Why is it not in my top 5? The reason it's not in my top 5 is because therapists work so hard. They all know what it is. They are all juggling so many things, and most importantly, trying to do exactly what I want them to do, which is provide excellent care to the people we serve. So to me, productivity, it's important. I understand it. It's a business. But at the end of the day, they're working so hard, and they're doing it for the most part Do people struggle? Yes. Do they have bad days? Yes. Are there some who really struggle and need some help and need some counsel with it? Absolutely. But I think when therapists know what the expectations are, they're performing. However, like we talked about, it's on their top 5 because I think they see that as part of how they're evaluated as a therapist. They see it as part of how they're evaluated as a clinician. Instead of looking at their clinical skills, they're being judged on whether or not they hit a certain number versus whether or not they perform quality care, which really should be the measure of performance for a therapist.
One of the, when we asked the directors of rehab, what are the top 5 things you focused in on? We had a lot of conversation because their answers really surprised us.
Right. We were shocked that productivity wasn't something that was on their top 5 list. I think I was standing behind the camera when I asked that question, and if you could have seen my face, it probably would have been one of shock and awe. But it really was an aha moment, I think, for all of us as we sat back and thought, well, gosh, the therapists feel so pressured about productivity, but yet the directors of rehab are saying that that's, and again, a small sample of a nationwide industry, but that productivity isn't within their top 5. So it was just kind of stepping back and going, how do we take that as leaders in our industry and affect a change and help support the directors of rehab, help support the therapists, and help support us to continue to do the right thing for the people we serve, patients, clinicians, and the companies that we either own or work for.